Hi friends of cocktails! Fall is upon us, and I figured it was time for another seasonal cocktail. And I wasn't alone. Timothy asked for another apple cocktail, referencing last year's Clarified apple and Scotch Highball. But I just got some pears from back home, handpicked by my mom. So we'll make a different twist on the whiskey highball. I'll also incorporate an unusual cocktail ingredient, buckwheat, and 2 Irish whiskies. But if you just want something simple and refreshing, I suggest making the classic whiskey highball. As mentioned last year, it's one of the cocktails I make for myself most often. It doesn't get much easier than a simple mix of whiskey and soda. Spray it with lemon zest, but with the right choice of whiskey, it can really hit the spot. And this peaty Irish whiskey is perfect for a rainy fall day. As we roll the intro and I finish this, you have the perfect time to subscribe and help the channel grow. It's cocktail time. Today's cocktail will be a whiskey highball with pear juice and buckwheat tea. But since we'll be carbonating the whole cocktail, you will need to clarify the pear juice, so the CO2 doesn't disperse before you get to enjoy the bubbles. Buckwheat will pair nicely with the pear, and will complement both with a combination of a single pot still and peated single malt Irish whiskies, and of course, saline solution. I'll first show you how to make this tea and clarified pear juice. Let's start with a simple task of making buckwheat tea. This is 40 grams of husked buckwheat, which I'll first roast in a pan. This is a traditional way of making buckwheat tea in East Asia. Once you see nice browning and it releases its pleasant aromas, take it off the heat. You can see the difference in the color. We'll brew this in 200 grams of boiling hot water for about 5 minutes. Typically it's 10 parts water to 1 part buckwheat, but to have buckwheat more noticeable in the cocktail, I'm making this a bit stronger. Buckwheat is sometimes considered a superfood, so you can say that after super juice and super syrup, you're now making super tea. Strain and that's it. On to the clarified pear juice. We'll take the same approach as with apples, using Pectinex to break down the pectin enzymes in the pears, separating the juice and the solids. But for some reason, these wonderfully ripe Williams pears don't clarify quite as clear as apples. But that's not too much of a problem. Having slightly warm pears will help the Pectinex break down the enzymes, so I soak them in warm water before cutting them up and juicing them. If you're looking for a juicer, I'd love to give you a link to this one, but I think it was made before Amazon or even the internet was a thing. As you get about 30 ml or 1 ounce of juice, add and dissolve 0.75 grams of ascorbic acid, better known as vitamin C. This will prevent the juice from oxidizing and keep it nice and bright. Then juice enough pears to get 300 ml or 10 ounces in total. If you have extra pears, enjoy a healthy snack. Add 0.6 grams of Pectinex to the pear juice and stir it in. Place this in the fridge and leave it to work its magic for at least 12 hours. Then we'll do our classic double strain, this time using a coffee filter. By double strain I mean that you'll refilter the first liquid coming through, because it will take some time for the solids to create an additional filter, helping you get out all of the solids. That's important, because solids in the cocktail and CO2 aren't friends, and you'll end up with a flat drink. With the clarified pear juice done, we're ready to make the cocktail. You can of course use these ingredients to make a delicious fall mocktail as well. But today we're making a fall whiskey highball, a HighFall. I'll give you measurements for a single serve, but I'll make 2 cocktails, so I don't waste a CO2 cartridge for a single one. Start with 45 ml or 1.5 ounce of green spot single pot still Irish whiskey for the base of the cocktail. Follow that with its peaty single malt compatriot, Connemara, 7.5 ml or 1/4 of an ounce, will give it a nice smoky undertone. Then equal parts 60 ml or 2 ounces of clarified pear juice, and 60 ml or 2 ounces of buckwheat tea. Lastly, like it's almost tradition on cocktail time, 2 drops of saline solution. This can be scaled up and pre-batched if you want to make more of these cocktails. When you're ready to serve the drink, just transfer it into a well-chilled soda siphon or a cream whipper and charge it with a CO2 cartridge. Shake it up to help the gas carbonate the whole drink. Then carefully release the gas before opening. Pour it over a clear ice pear in a chilled highball glass. I'll garnish it with a single pear wedge, crisp and appealing. Timothy and everyone who enjoys fall cocktails. Cheers! Subtle smoke and even some buckwheat are coming through on the aroma. Together with whiskey, these 3 flavors are harmonized on the palate, with a pleasant mouthfeel of the bubbles, making this a perfect way to celebrate the harvesting season. But as we get ready for the fall in the northern hemisphere, it's starting to get warmer in the land down under. One thing that's apparently already hot in Australia is the Cocktail Time Wall of Fame. 2 new Australian bartenders became our top tier patrons, and they're joining Steve the Bartender in representing the Australian bartending scene, Orion Taylor and TheBlackBartender. Welcome to the set of Cocktail Time, and thank you again to all of our patrons for supporting this show. Until next week. Cheers, friends of cocktails.